it's definitely been a heck of a ride.
Say goodnight to this one. Bijan Robinson takes it 77 yards.
I was really just trying to suck up the moment.
Johnson leads the defender. Touchdown. Airborne.
Fifth grade year, I was really watching the draft. I probably watched the whole draft, and I was like, man, I can't wait to be there.
Snacks. Finally got something to eat.
This is the greatest university. I honestly believe that.
Ojimo comes through there.
We Texas, so you know.
Oh, they get him. DeMarvion Overshown comes in like a missile.
This is KVUE Sports 2023 NFL Draft Longhorn Special. Here's your host, TAB award-winning sports director Jeff Jones, with Tyler Feldman and Corey Moe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside of our KVUE studio for our 2023 NFL Draft Longhorn Special. And before I introduce the guys up here with me, I have to just give my hat off and say kudos to Tyler Feldman for piecing together that intro we just saw. That was good work.
Fire.
Best 4 hours of my life making that 1 minute intro. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, 4 hours well spent. I'm Jeff Jones. The master of intros is Tyler Feldman, and the master of fashion is Corey Mose. We're breaking it all down for you and glad to do it.
Yeah, Jeff, we've got the whole KVUE Sports team in the house to break down the 5 Longhorns expected to be selected April 27th through the 29th in Kansas City.
Yeah, of course, we'll be chatting about Bijan Robinson, but what about the other guys? Overshown Johnson, Keandre Coburn, DeMarvion Overshown, and Moro Ojimo.
And I think it's important to note that the Longhorns will not repeat last year. If you remember, not a single Texas player was selected in the 2022 NFL Draft, which is, guys, really hard to believe, quite frankly. But believe this, again, that will not happen this year. For starters, you guys ever heard of a guy named Bijan Robinson?
Once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Nicest guy off the field, but on the field, he'll rip you to pieces. 5'11", 215-pound running back. In my eyes, the best running back on the board. No doubt first rounder. Built well, runs well, catches well. Well. Variety of weapons within Bijan's game. And whichever team gets him is going to be really happy, especially after hearing just how tough it was for Bijan to forego his senior season.
The reason why it was hard, because I just love it here, and I just love everything about this place. I love this fan base, the coaching staff, the people here, and just everything that I, say here while I've been here. So that's definitely why, it's such a hard decision, and I kind of just thought about it for a little bit longer than people thought. But yeah, it was a tough one, and I knew that it had to be made for my future for sure.
Yeah, Bijan definitely made the right decision. Surefire first-round pick in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Tyler, I think with Bijan, the most exciting part about him is that it'll be interesting to see where he lands. And the same goes for his big bro, Overshown Johnson. Ever since the Combine, it seems like his stock has just been rising. And the interest in Rowe from all around the league just keeps climbing and climbing. So can't wait to see what it looks like in the next couple of days. Here's what Moro Ojimo had to say about the former two-headed monster in the Texas backfield, now looking to carve out separate paths in the NFL.
It just means the world. I think it inspires other backs to come here. And I think it inspires Texas to be running back U. And I think that's amazing, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Hey, Bijan said it at the Combine. If you want to be a great running back, just come to Texas.
Oh,
him and Overshown have paved the way for the next UT backfield of Jonathan Brooks, Jaden Blue, and of course, the true freshman, Cedric Baxter.
Now, I know NIL is a thing, but if Bijan's saying stuff like that at the Combine, they need to give him some recruiting dollars too.
Yes.
Putting those messages out on that forum, that platform, that's exactly what you want to do. And guys, I'll tell you what stands out to me most about this Longhorns draft class are really the personalities. Each of the 5 guys who were invited to the Combine, and those are the 5 who we're really focusing on in this show, we really gotten to know them. We know that DeMarvion Overshown loves his huge lifted lime green Chevy truck. He calls it with the monster lizard or something like that. We know that Moro Ojimo is very much a big picture thinker. In an interview about 2 years ago, I found out that Keandre Coburn has an interest in acting, and he even showed me that. His best Matthew McConaughey impression. We've seen Bijan give back to the Austin community time and time again, typically finding ways to help kids in our community. And Overshown is the type of person whose standards for everyone are sky high. His head coach, Steve Sarkeesian, described an athlete who is one of the best leaders that UT has seen in years.
When you talk about what is a Texas Longhorn football player, in my mind, I think of Overshown Johnson.
He leads by example. He always making sure people do everything right.
Yeah, I think it was just in my spirit to, speak up when things needed to be said.
We did a little thing where if the locker room's dirty, we're going to run on Monday. He came up with that.
I mean, just from looking around the room and seeing what we needed as a team, I tried to fill the leadership role.
He does all of the little things the right way that every time I meet with a young player, I always reference, how can you be more like him?
All right, so we're going to pause this video right here. That is some great feedback on Overshown Johnson. We've heard about the offensive guys time and time again. They're the ones who get the first downs and score the touchdowns. What we're going to do in this show, though, is break down some film and show you how two key defensive players from the Longhorns in this year's draft class truly are special. We're going to start with Moro Ojomo. And before we play this video, what I want you to notice is Moro, where he is. He's lined up as the right defensive end. Now, Moro is a very versatile, very strong, and deceptively quick player. I have 3 plays that are going to show all that and more, starting with that strength. Let's go ahead and play this video. Now, Moro is just going to embarrass this Iowa State left tackle. Watch him run through him, and he only runs through half a man. Any good pass rusher knows that. Moro put his left hand in the center of that lineman's chest, so he's only attacking that lineman's left side of his body. Take a bow because you did a great job there, Moro. Remember, this guy had 29 bench press reps in the combine. That was 3rd best for any defensive tackle, and he showed that upper body strength there. Now, watch this video. That is not a position you want to be in if you're an offensive lineman. Hands out wide, chest exposed, not even looking at the defender. You lost, sir, and you're getting your quarterback sacked because of it. Pause this video right here. This is our second clip, and Moro, he was lined up right here at the left defensive tackle position, so a completely different position that comes with completely different responsibilities. That's the versatility we were talking about a second ago. What you need to notice about this play is that the right guard, the player who was lined up right in front of Moro, took off backwards and across the line on the snap. Now, an offense only pulls a right guard like that if they think their center is as athletic as the defensive tackle, who is Moro Ojomo. Just 3 steps into this play, Moro is past the entire offensive line, showing them that their strategy offensively was flawed, and this is an opportunity for him to embarrass their offensive coordinator and pad his stats a little bit. Let's go ahead and play the video and show you how this one works out. Moro continues upfield, gets half a sack. Barron Sorrell is there to clean it up. But this play, this negative play or positive play for the UT defense happens because of Moro's deceptively quick first step. Don't try him. He will embarrass you and take that opportunity every single time. Pause this. All right, Moro again lined up at the left defensive tackle. So we've seen him all over the D-line, which is very important. This is in the Alabama game. This play is not going to be a sack. It's not going to be a tackle for loss, but it is going to be very important and crucial. It's about a 2-yard run. Moro is going to make the tackle on the opposite side of the field, which shows a lot of effort. But what I want you to watch closely is some of that strength that we saw earlier when he was attacking half of a man from the Iowa State offensive line. Watch him just bench press and fully extend his arms against this Alabama right guard. Go ahead and play the video, and I want to point out as this is playing, the Alabama offensive player who he lined up against was a 3-year starter for the Crimson Tide. So an amazing player, first team All-SEC lineman, and he just got embarrassed. The fans are screaming, Moro, go get your paycheck. And that's exactly what he is going to do. Moro deserves to be celebrated more than maybe he was during his time at the 40 Acres. And when he leaves town, which he's going to do very soon when he gets drafted on Thursday, he's going to leave behind a legacy that he's very proud of.
It means the world. It's been amazing to, see it build on each other. And resiliency is needed to achieve anything great in life, and I think that this is a great program, and the resiliency is going to take them to the next level.
All right, guys, so now I've had a chance to catch my breath. We've broken down some film. We've seen what Moro brings to the table and why I believe he's going to be a very efficient and productive pro. But Tyler, you're across the room now. You were in the room with Steve Sarkeesian at a spring football media session recently where the head ball coach just took a chance to rave about this batch of NFL players.
Yeah, Jeff, great job, by the way, at the big board. That was awesome. And there is no denying just how good these 5 guys were at Texas on the field. But really, they were just as good, if not better, off the field. It's kind of like working with the 2 of you.
Oh.
Great on paper. Yeah, check this out. Look at these 2 pearly, white, smiling men. Great on paper, but when you actually get to know both of you as people, you both become that much better. And hey, according to Sark, the same goes for the Longhorns after their meetings with NFL evaluators.
you can watch the tape of our players and you see a body of work that's on film. And then when people start to meet with them, whether it's the interview process at the Combine, the workouts, or when they come visit us here for Pro Day or different visits, or when they have our players go visit them for one of the 30 visits that they get, I think they start learning about the football IQ. I think they start learning about the men that they are and how they carry themselves. And I think all those things are bonuses on top of what the tape says. Because the film is just a silent film, right? All you see is what you see. There's no commentary when we watch tape. It's silent. Then you get to learn about the person. You learn about the work ethic. You learn about their attention to detail. You learn about their IQ of the game. And I think that's what's been impressive here over the last couple weeks, is that guys are starting to really learn our players, who they are. And I think that's where we're starting to see some of the kind of them growing in the eyes of the NFL right now.
All right, kind words there from Steve Sarkeesian. Makes a lot of sense to me. We got to know these guys, and one of those guys, Corey, as we bring you back into the fold, Demo. We know he's got that jolly old green pickup truck off the field that he drives around, and yes, you've got the idea. A little bit of, am I doing this right, Corey?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But on the field, what kind of truck do you think he drives?
Oh, man, well, it got to be a Chevy, huh? Just like Texas. But DeMarvion Overshown, like you were mentioning, he was the captain of the much-improved Texas defense last season. He has more versatility than a Swiffer wet jet, being not only a violent tackler, but also one of, if not the best, coverage linebackers in this draft. And here's why I say that, all right? So here's Demo right here matched up against this slot receiver. Now, the slot receiver is thinking, Demo has inside leverage, so we're going to do a 5-yard out route, and he should be open, right? Nah, Demo shows that athleticism, knocks that pass away. But if you look at that athleticism, that's something that you don't see in a dude that's 6'3", 230, all right? Now, Demo used to play safety back in the day, and you can see that on tape. Now, watch this play right here. He's lined up on about the 29-yard line. He's going to drop back about 20 yards, and watch his eyes. He's watching the quarterback, then use that safety background to pick the ball off, and he's able to use all the things that he learned back in high school with being in the secondary, and of course showing off those ball skills in the air. So the dude can cover, but his bag is deeper than that, all right? Watch how defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski uses Demo here. He's gonna drop him down to the defensive line. And of course, Demo does what Demo does. He uses the speed, the athleticism, great spin move, by the way, and he gets to Max Duggan for a 3rd down stop. Overshown is one of those players that can be used in so many different ways. He can tackle, he can cover, and he can get after the quarterback. A perfect chess piece for a defensive mastermind in NFL. Put him anywhere, and he'll make an impact. Join y'all real quick.
Please do, please do.
I'm just trying to be like you, bro. That was a great.
Welcome back. Man. You know, we're fan section. As you can see, Tyler's filming this whole thing. We're cheering you on. I like that breakdown over there.
Like I said, bro, I'm just trying to be like you when I grow up.
You know, hey, now that we told the people about Morrow, about Demo, and we've heard a little bit about all the prospects, I think it's time for us to do some projections. We need to let you guys know where we think these players will be drafted. And you know what? I think we start with Bijan Robinson, and we can all agree he's going somewhere in the 1st round. But what pick and what team is the right fit? Tyler, let's start with you, man.
Jeff, I like the Eagles at 10. I know they made it to the Super Bowl. They've got a high draft pick, though, and boy, could Bijan be a huge weapon. The Eagles haven't selected a running back in the 1st round since the 1980s. Wow. And you know what I love about the possibility of Bijan in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love? Philly's a rough, passionate sports town, and Bijan's just the nicest, most humble guy in the world. I think when you look at Bijan going to Philadelphia, I would love to see how that city would embrace him.
Yeah.
Man, Tyler, I think you must have been looking at my note card.
Let me tell Jeff a secret. I was.
Okay. We're sharing. That's all right.
I have him going to Philly as well, but there is a disclaimer for me. All right. I think it all depends on Georgia D lineman Jalen Carter with his, legal situation. He could slip to the Eagles, and if he's there, Philly's going to take him for sure. But if that's not the case, I think Philly will take Bijan at 10. But if it is, let's say he does get drafted, Jalen Carter that is, by Philadelphia, I think Bijan goes to Tampa Bay at 19 to replace Leonard Fournette and take some pressure off Tom Brady's successor, Baker Mayfield.
I like a lot about what you just said.
Like Travis.
Yeah, how about that? Central Texas connection.
This guy's all about community.
Baker to Bijan. I like that. I like that. And like I said, I like a lot about what you just said, especially calling Tyler out on looking at your notes. I will be honest, I looked at both of your notes and I saw that he was going to Philly in both of yours. I like that pick.
You're a smart man.
But what I want to do is I want to be different. So I'm going to say that Bijan falls a little past 10 because of that devalued the way that they look at running back position. He's definitely one of the top 5 players in the draft, but I think he falls a little bit because he plays running back and falls all the way to the Patriots at 14 overall. Now the Patriots
made it seem like he was dropping down to like 30.
No, I don't think he can fall.
Cowboys fans got excited.
I don't think he can fall out of the top 20. The Cowboys pick at 26. If they want him, if they want to keep Bijan in the state of Texas, I think they're going to have to trade up to get him. But like I said, I could see him being picked by the Patriots, 14th overall. As we know about that franchise, that program, they really value high character guys. You don't get much more high character than Bijan Robinson. We also know that they just let Damian Harris, a former Alabama running back with a lot of pedigree, just like Bijan has, they let him go. And so they're looking for somebody to team up with Stevenson coming out of the backfield. And I think that pairing could work well. And the way the NFL is going now, I think they put a lot of value on running backs that are used to being part of two-headed running back committees. And that's exactly what Bijan comes from, and that's exactly where he could go. Now let's go to Roschon Johnson, Bijan's running mate in the backfield. I think that Roschon could join a team that's very young, very up and coming, and very fun to watch. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that Roschon's a day 2 pick going in the 3rd round. And I know coming into this year, I don't think a lot of Texas fans would have predicted that, but I believe he has played himself into that position. I could see Roschon Johnson, again, going to a team just like the Patriots that let go of one of their premier running backs last year. The Jaguars didn't really have a number 2 running back last season. They will now when they get Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, Jeff, I like your thinking there, and I think we heard from Steve Sarkeesian just how much you get to know a guy like Roschon Johnson. We got to know him really well this season, just what he brings to a team. I see him late 3rd round, early 4th round pick. I see him as a high ceiling guy, though, high character guy. He's going to have a long NFL career, so I could maybe see the Cowboys with that 90th pick in the 3rd round.
Ooh.
I could see the Saints possibly with pick 115 in the 4th round. So I'm looking at Saints or Cowboys. I'm looking at Saints or Cowboys, and who's ever lucky enough to get Roschon Johnson, that's a guy that you want on your team. I remember going back to this past Longhorns season, he was making sure the locker room was clean.
Yeah.
He made a point, an emphasis, if the locker room's not clean, if we're not taking care of the little things, then how are we going to accomplish the big things? That's what I look at when I think of Roschon Johnson and what he could bring to an NFL team.
Which reminds me, we got to have a little spring cleaning in the sports office after we finish taping this, okay?
That's on my desk. I can tell you that right now.
Corey, what team is Roschon going to help clean up next year?
I like that. I like what you did there. But like y'all both said, he's just a great leader. And I think with having those leadership qualities, you want to have someone that can come in and make an impact, not just on the field, but in the locker rooms and also on special teams. I think he's going to play a big factor in special teams as well. But I see Roschon going in the 3rd round as well, but to a different team. How about the Arizona Cardinals, all right? Their starter, James Conner, and Roschon kind of have similar type running abilities. They're bruising backs, but Conner has had some injury problems in the last couple of years, so to take him and take the load off of him and bring in Roschon Johnson and still have the same type of power coming out of the backfield, I think that'd be a nice tandem and a good mix.
Yeah, James Conner, congratulations. You helped lead me to a fantasy football championship 2 seasons ago.
That's just what Pittsburgh guys do.
He's one of my favorites. All right, guys, time to move on to another one of my favorites, linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. Corey, you did an amazing job breaking him down at the big board for us. So we've seen his athleticism, and I think a team that has had a lot of success recently with athletic linebackers is one that's very close to us, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. DeMarvion told us recently that he's grown very close to Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn because Coach Quinn made multiple trips to the 40 acres, not necessarily recruiting or scouting, but just being around the department.
It's a long drive. Long drive for Dan Quinn.
When he was here, he was doing some scouting, and he probably saw some toys that he liked to play with as a defensive coordinator. You know, some guys who he could scheme up to get in some good positions, and I think they're going to pick Demo in the 4th round.
Demo's got the cowboy hat. So he's got to wear that somewhere. It just makes sense that possibly it could be Dallas. Yeah, definitely could see 4th round, 5th round, Panthers, Niners, Rams. They all have linebacker needs. But I really think the Panthers grab him in the 5th round. Jeff, I know you're familiar with the Carolinas. I'm familiar with the Carolinas as well. The Panthers need some help defensively. And Demo, he brings that energy, that leadership, and that athleticism, and honestly, just talent. The guy's seemingly never hurt. So I think that's a lot of stability for a Panthers team that really could use some help at the linebacker position.
Yeah, can I let the people know, Tyler, this part of the show was your idea. You said, I want you to tell us the round and a team, and we've been doing that. And you just said 4th round, 5th round, Panthers, Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Saints, Chiefs, Westlake High School. You named everybody.
I'm covering all my bases. I'm trying to be not wrong.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I think you achieved it.
You guys 20 other things too.
I'm increasing my percentage of chances.
Yeah. Corey, do you want to list the other 4 teams in the NFL?
Yeah, I got you. Well, actually, I'm just going to name another team that's already been named. I'm going to have to agree with you, Jeff. I think the Cowboys just make the most sense in my eyes. He already has a hat, like Tyler said. But also, defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, man, he loves to move his players around, especially Micah Parsons. You see that dude everywhere. So why not give Quinn another gadget that he can utilize, and so that linebacker room becomes one of the best linebacker rooms in the NFL.
I like that. And for those who don't know, I know that you do know this, Corey, Micah Parsons works out in the offseason where?
Right here in Austin.
ATX.
Right here in Austin.
That's just what Penn Staters do. We come into Austin, maybe some for the full season, some for the off season. We just get better here in Austin.
Yeah. From a Penn State alumni who likes to brag on Penn State alumni to a very proud Longhorn who we broke down earlier in the show. Now, earlier I told you I am a big Moro Ojimo fan. I think that his versatility is going to be an issue for offenses in the NFL. His physical strength, especially in the upper body, is going to be a big issue for offenses in the NFL. He's just going to be an issue, and I think he's going to be an issue for the LA Chargers. That's a team that needs help both inside and outside on the D-line. And Moro, like we said, is a versatile guy. He can help you both inside and outside. I think that's a perfect fit. So charge on, Chargers. Take our Longhorn and use him well.
One thing I know about Moro is you won't find a more interesting conversation with a player in the NFL than with Moro Ojimo. We've had several. At one point, he got so crazy with everything that he was saying, in a good way, that we didn't get to talk. I missed those chats. Not for that reason, but I like him 4th round, possibly pick 118, the Washington Commanders. That just seems like a perfect place for a guy that maybe has a future in law. Put him in D.C. Put him in our nation's capital.
Yeah,
see what that man can do work-wise off the field and on the field. Moro Ojimo to D.C., I think that would just be the perfect pairing when you're talking about maybe a football player and a football team or a steak and a glass of wine.
Yeah.
All right.
I like how you're thinking after football.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Are you talking about political stuff?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm about to say what?
That too.
In Washington. But I got Moro going into the 5th round to the Saints. They lost 3 defensive linemen for agency, so they lack some depth in that area, and Moro would be a solid piece, like you explained, Jeff, in that rotation to bring in some type of just strength and body, to that defensive line.
Strength and body. I think that moves us on to the next player on our list. Big snacks. All right, Keandre Coburn. I think he came in at like 340. I've never seen him do that, but
I've seen Corey do that.
Keandre, if you're watching, that's your new sack dance, right?
That's cool, right?
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Wiggle.
He's ready to eat a peanut butter and jelly after.
Crunchy peanut butter.
Don't do this.
It's because I'm passionate about peanut butter and jelly, and smooth peanut butter is the way to go. And you know what? If you're an NFL team looking for a very good run stuffer, Keandre Coburn, I think, is the way to go. The Texas defensive tackle shows a lot of personality off the field, and he's a great run defender on the field. And one team in particular that I think needs a great run defender was the worst run defending team in the NFL last year, which happens to be Keandre's hometown team, the Houston Texans. I think that they picked Coburn, and since we're going in 2 rounds, multiple teams, we're just rewriting the rules.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome.
They picked Keandre in the 6th or 7th round. He gets to go home.
Yeah, that is a great story, and thanks for giving me a hard time. You're welcome. I didn't have to tee you up to have to give you multiple options. I didn't have to do that. That's out of the goodness of my heart, Jeff.
Appreciate you.
Here you go, spinning it, dude.
Hey, you got to spin it, and Keandre can certainly spin it defensively, inside and out. We talked about that. I really see the Dolphins. The Dolphins could really use some help in the middle. Snacks, he just fills up that area. And I think obviously he could work on certainly some areas of his game being a little bit more aggressive, stronger, faster. But I think that comes with time. If you give him a chance, the Dolphins could certainly use some help. Miami, Keandre Coburn, good place to snap.
Yeah, that would be a nice little spot. Christian Wilkins, but then also Bradley Chubb is there now.
Yeah.
Pairing him with Snacks, big space eater. Gotta love that.
Because Snacks isn't known to be a pass rusher.
Exactly.
But he wouldn't have to be with those other guys around him getting at the quarterback. I like that pick.
I appreciate
Not
it.
as much as mine.
Oh, here you go. But, I like your pick, too. H trying to hold it down. You know the vibes. But I have Snacks going to a team that has 4 picks in the 6th round, and that's the New England Patriots, right? The Pats, they have history with just big space eaters, right? You got Vince Wilfork, you got Danny Shelton, plus the last time they selected the defensive lineman from Texas, worked out pretty good, Malcolm Brown. So I love to see if Keandre can go up to New England and have the same effect.
All right, I like that. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. You can feel free to reach out to us on social media with your picks, your projections, your suggestions for 32 of the NFL teams and which Longhorns they should pick.
And you can give me four of your decisions for each player, please.
There we go.
That's just how we do it. That's how I do it personally.
We bend the rules for us. We bend them for you, too. They're going to follow the rules, though, of course, starting on April 27th. That's when the NFL draft kicks off. We're looking for at least all 5 of those Longhorns who we mentioned to get drafted this year, which, as Tyler pointed out, is 5 more than last year. We're going to keep you posted on all things you need to know NFL Draft on KVUE, online, and on the channel. For Corey and Tyler, I'm Jeff. Thanks for watching.